Hey boys and girls, we're back, and this one's a special roll. Let's see here. I'm going to count my chips this time, because last time I didn't count them. 5, 6, 7, 8, and I was dealing with a deck of 49. 11, 12, 13... There's 30, 33, 34, 37, 39, 40, 41. Guess what? I'm counting 49 again. Okay, let me try this again. I'll count them out loud this time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, and 3 is 50. Okay, I do have 50 this time. Guess what I found underneath my paper cutter when I went to cut these? I did make it. It just didn't make it out from underneath my paper cutter. So we have a total of 50 names this time, exactly as we're supposed to have. Yes, 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 yes. Hello, Bulldog. We've got Bulldog. We've got Farm Dog. We've got my Hound Dog over here. Of course, he's a Bulldog too, but I can't say Bulldog because Bulldog is in the chat. My Bulldog is just Sherman. All right. Let me... Okay, so I've got something I tried for the first time earlier, and I liked how it worked. And this was a suggestion given to me by someone in Facebook. This little tool right here is a little plastic tool that they use to take screens off of iPhones. They pry the screen off the iPhone with it. But it's also perfect for opening bank wrap rolls. See, check this out. It's plastic, so it doesn't scratch the coins at all. It doesn't damage the coins. And you can just go around and you can pick the roll apart. You can get it started like that, because getting it started is the hardest part. And I can do the rest of it with my thumbnail. It's just that first little bit, getting it started, is so hard. And see, there we go. Now it's open on that end. And here's our chip for the actual wrapper itself. And I know my bag is empty. The bag is empty. And I placed all the names inside the bag and shook them up really well. Now, let's take a look at this. This is the actual flip insert that I came up with for this particular roll reveal. And the reason this is a special flip insert is because this roll at one time belonged to Governor Ernest Vandiver of the state of Georgia. This roll was in his personal collection, and we are now opening it. Now, take a look at this. It has a picture of the governor. It says, B.U. Lincoln sent from the estate of Georgia State Governor Ernest Vandiver, 1959 to 1963. And then here on the other side, it says, collect Georgia history, 1954S, 1 cent, brilliant uncirculated, with the number of the coin, the Coppercoins logo, the Lincoln cent logo, and the state of Georgia with a peach. There we go. It finally focused. Just as I'm finished talking about it, it decides to focus. So, there we have us, a special little holder for our special group of coins. And there's our numbers, all ready to go. Let me get the other end of this roll picked out. You can watch down here in this camera right here, this one. You can watch what I'm doing. So I just stick this little plastic tool with the little rake inside the wrapper and just pick outward, just like that. And it takes the curl out of the paper. And you know how hard it is sometimes to pick these apart with your fingers. You're picking at it for 5 minutes trying to get it open. Well, this didn't hardly take any time at all. It's absolutely perfect. A 1994 Philadelphia red cent. I don't know if it's a gem BU, it could be worth a few dollars, but in general, 1954 cents or 1994 cents are just worth a couple of cents each. I have a whole uncirculated bag of them back here. Okay, these coins look pretty nice. Doesn't appear as though there's anything massively wrong with them. They're not heavily spotted or messed up in any way. So let's go ahead and get started. Midnight Silver Run gets coin number 1. First coin in the roll. There it is. That is the roll end coin. We are going to be looking for die varieties, so I am going to squeeze into a very close view. And looking at this coin number 1 in the roll, it appears as though we don't have any die variety on the obverse. Now, 1954S is more noted for a couple of double die obverses, but not really any double die obverses, or reverses, I'm sorry. I'll learn my words here. Use your words, Chuck. And I don't see any double die reverse on here either, so Midnight Silver Run's coin will be a coin marked for history as the first coin out of the governor's roll that he never looked inside of. Right. We're all doing great, Nicolette. Here's coin number 2, goes to Deanne. Of course, Deanne's luck. We're going to end up with something massive here, so let's see what we end up with. Well, we have a die crack running along the 9 of the date. It doesn't appear as though we have anything else of special note on this particular coin yet. Little spot here and there. Otherwise, a pretty nice choice BU coin. There's a nice little die break on the lower right wheat. That was a thread on the rim. A very late die state coin. Look how worn out this die was when I struck this coin. Your wheat lines are almost indistinct. Some of the letters in United States of America are very soft, very difficult to read. And this is all a sign of a die that had lived its full life prior to striking this coin. So that'll be coin number 2. No die variety yet. I closed the door so the dog wouldn't disturb us. And, well, when I closed the door, the dog sat outside the door whining until I opened the door and let him in. So we have a dog right underneath me. Okay, so coin number 3. We'll go to Eric Beyer. These are relatively nice shiny coins. I mean, they don't look so great when you put them under the scope, but that's because we're looking at them so close. When you get them up so close, they're really hard to discern from ick, and they're not. These coins are actually pretty nice when you look at them in hand. This is the only 1954S roll which was saved by the governor. It's the only 54S roll that came in his estate. To contrast, 1955S, I think there were like 8 or 10 rolls, 8 rolls. 1955 plain, there were 5 rolls. 1956, between Philadelphia and Denver, there were close to 20 rolls. By the time you got into the 60s, rolls were numbering in the the 30s, 40s, 50s. Total of 403 rolls in the estate, and this was the only 1954S. Chuck Patillo gets the next coin. Let's see what Chuck gets. Nice, clean-looking coin. I mean, not a whole lot of issues. We do have some heavy die scrapes going on at the rim. No, those are actually hits on the rim. Thought they might be die scrapes, but they're not. They're actually hits on the rim because they are indented into the rim. And they do slightly displace metal. Nothing on the reverse on this one, so I'll move along. So there's a nice, I'm going to call it a gem. It's a 65 looking coin to me. I mean, it's got, all these coins have slightly dull luster, but that's part of 1954S. They just come that way. All right, Joe McBride. Most valuable coin out of 1954S would probably be the double die obverse number 1. It's a nice class 2 double die obverse. If we run into one, I'll be sure and show it to you. Well, this appears to be the same as the first die that came out of the roll. No hub doubling going on here. And no mint mark doubling either. Nothing discernible as being different from a normal coin, so we move on. And looking at the reverse of the coin, we're seeing much of the same. Relatively decent uncirculated coin otherwise. Nothing of note. And we shall keep moving along. That's coin number 5 to Joe McBride. I wonder what Mr. Vandiver would think if he saw us opening these and going through them like this. I bet he didn't have a whole lot of knowledge of varieties. I don't know what else was in his hoard. Doug Reese gets this one. Unfortunately, it's a little spotty. They didn't know a whole lot about die varieties back in his day. Wow. Really spotty. I hope that doesn't continue. Oh, there's coin number 6 in the roll. That's Doug Reese. Back in his day, they didn't know a whole lot about die varieties. They knew a little bit about error coins, but die varieties they didn't know a whole lot about. So nobody really checked for double dies or repunch mint marks until after 1955. When the big 1955 double die came out, everybody was checking for them. And there's some slight spotting and toning on this one too. PNC Floyd 86, hello. Welcome to the show. We're going through a 1954S Lincoln cent roll, looking at every coin for people who purchased the coins prior to opening the roll. Discussing specifically what we're finding in this roll, which so far has been nothing of real note. This one appears that it could be a minor repunch mint mark, but it may be too minor. I can see what appears to be maybe a baby split right on the bottom of the S. Let me zoom in on it here so we can take a better look at it. Yeah, it looks like there could be a little baby split right there. But man, that's not going to be anything that we're going to be able to list. Not going to be able to do a whole lot with it. It is a mix of die states. Mix of die states, a mix of dies. Although 54S generally does come rather late die state, you can find them in earlier die state. 53 through 56 were very odd years for Lincoln Cents because they struck a whole lot of coins with every die pair they could. Preserved those die pairs, I suppose. Not really sure why. But especially 1955, Philadelphia. Seems that they only used 3 different die pairs that year. I know that's an exaggeration. It's not true. But it seems like they did. Well, see, there's a nice earlier die state coin. Just as I'm talking about how 1954S comes late die state, this one's an earlier die state coin. It's a nice one. Nice coin for a variety, but no variety to be seen. Now, see, the reverse is a later die state. Die state, meaning the age of the die at the time it struck the coin. You see all those flow lines on the outside edge of the right wheat there? Flow lines being little lines that actually point toward the rim of the coin. That's a movement of steel molecules on the surface of the die as it strikes coins. And the more those little molecules move like raindrops on a windshield, the older the die is. It's kind of like wrinkles developing on a person. Now, if you look at this side, you won't see very many of those. They're there, but they're not very long. They're not very pronounced. Those lines, those other lines, are called die scratches. They're done with an emery board or with sandpaper or some other coarse type of material that they use to clean the die. But when you look for the small flow lines, like you can see there outside the edge of the date, you don't see very many of them on the obverse. The outside edges of the letters are all clear, too. Whereas if you look on this side, the outside edges of the letters are getting kind of mushy. Starting to mush out toward the rim. That's another sign that you have a pretty late die state, or a pretty old die. Previous coin you might have thought you saw a bar L. Well, that's easy enough. I'll pick it back up and take a look at it real quick. Sherman, you are annoying. He's laying here chewing a ball up against my chair. He has to do anything he can. To get attention. Coin number 8 was not a bar L. Coin number 9 is not a bar L. We'll take a look at them real quick. There's coin number 8. I see what you're talking about. But that is flow. That is not a bar. Yeah. It was the lighting at that time. It made it look like it might have been a bar, but it's not. All right. Coin number 10. All right. We're done. We're done. Nope. See, this is what he's chewing on. Oh, go. Go. You just got my fingers all nasty, dog. Go. All right, Joe McBride. Good thing I don't use my right hand on the coins. It's all left hand. Okay, this one's for Joe McBride. Some sputtiness on this one. I guess this isn't going to be that Gem BU roll that we always hope for. Coin 9, Bulldog. Coin 8, Jeff Dunn. Coin number 7, Robert Adams. Coin 10, Joe McBride. Let's take a look at the reverse of coin number 10 real quick. I do have a little bit of toning down going on this and a few of the other coins in the roll. They have pretty decent looking luster. It's just that the color is toned down. Nothing like that gorgeous gem roll of 38s that we just picked through. Man, that was superb. Those things were awesome. Okay, Don Harmon. Oh, what does Mr. Harmon get? Well, it's a decent looking coin. No. Drop it. Just went out and got his ball to chew on and brought it back in here again. And see that thing looks like a doubled eyelid, double lower eyelid. I have to investigate that a little bit further, but that appears more to be metal flow. I don't know, let's zoom in on it real quick and see what we see. It's not normal to have an eyelid on the lower without having an eyelid on the upper. Yeah, see, that's all flow. There's no hub doubling going on there. That little thing in the center is actually the shine of the eye. That's part of the design. What I was looking at is that little ridge running down lower on the lower eyelid, and it's just nothing. So we'll zoom back out. Penny Parent. Penny Parent is here. Hello, Penny Parent. Okay, let's take a look at the reverse of this one. This is a very late die state reverse. Looks like it could be the same reverse we've already seen. We've got two reverses that have die cracks like this on the reverse. One is nearly a retained cud, and the other one is just a die crack. This one's just a die crack. A retained cud would be a piece of metal that has actually broken off of the main part of the die, but is still being retained in the color striking coins. Then when it falls away, it becomes a full cud. The difference between a rim to rim die crack and a retained cud is that a die crack is a surface crack, and a cud or a retained cud is the piece of die is completely broken off. Wow. Some very interesting looking coin here. I don't quite know what this is yet. Aha. There's a lot of grease on the die when this was struck. It's looks almost like it was polished, but it wasn't. This is exactly what the coin looked like when it was struck. See how flat the higher design looks? How mottled the surface is? This is what it looks like when you get a lot of viscous grease all over a die when it strikes a coin. And grease has nowhere to go, and the coin gets struck with that grease in it. Let me zoom way out on this. I'll be able to see the whole coin in this particular case. This could be classified as a minor error coin because it is definitely not as intended, but this is the way it was struck. This is exactly what the coin looked like the day it was struck. A rim-to-rim die crack is only pre-cud if it becomes a cud. Otherwise, it's not pre-cud because there was no cud for it to be a pre-2. That is a heavily grease-filled die coin for Eric. Kind of interesting, actually. But that's how it came. Hello, Mr. Harmon. Mr. Marshall. Mr. Marshall gets the next coin in the roll. This one's a nice uncirculated coin. Okay, I'm going to have to zoom back in a little bit. Otherwise, we can't see all the details. And details are what we need. Okay. Nothing going on with that mint mark. Take a look around at the coin and see if we have any doubling. Does not appear that we have any doubling on the obverse. We do have a small little bit of a die crack going between the B and the E. Can you see that little curved die crack looking thing? And that's the beginning of a BIE. That's the BI errors, the BIE errors, because when that little piece of the die breaks out, it mints for what appears to look like a B with an I between the E, the B and the E. There's a little I looking thing. I'll get it spit out one of these days. I'll get it once in a while. I get ahead of myself in my thoughts, and I'm trying to look at something, think of one thing, and say something different at the same time. It's kind of like patting your head and rubbing your belly. It's really hard to do. Oops. Mr. Marshall. I'll get his name in there. That's coin number 13. Let's take a look at coin number 14 and see what we get. Coin number 14 will be for Dana. Again, for those of you who might have missed it, back during the other roll reveal, I only had 49 names. I didn't have 50 names. Well, guess what I found underneath my paper cutter? That was under my paper cutter after I got finished with the reveal. So now I know exactly what happened to that one missing name. And here she is again in full appearance in our 1954S roll. Yeah, it looks like we have not a die variety. It's an earlier die state coin though. Pretty nice looking sharp design for a 1954S. Sometimes your die state will get so late on some of these coins they're really actually hard to see any die varieties on. But this would have been a great candidate if it had been a die variety, but it isn't. It doesn't appear to have anything outside the ordinary, other than the fact that it's in pretty good condition. Nice coin for Dana. Well, hello, Bill Betts. I'm a little slow in checking everything because I'm going through this roll, trying to look at what's going on with the roll. What is that? Is that a die crack? No. I don't think it's a die crack. There's a fiber sitting on the coin. I see nothing. No doubling do I see. Move on to the reverse. I've seen a die crack that looked very similar to this one before. In fact, it could be the same one. All right, let's take a look at coin number 16. Mr. Patek got himself a pretty nice looking 1954S there. These coins are from the governor's estate. I don't know if that really means a whole lot to a lot of people, but to me, when you can track the provenance of a coin, it always makes it a little more interesting just to know that, well, these coins were all in the office or the closet or the storeroom or something of the governor of Georgia. That's an interesting little line right there. Going straight down out of the 5. There's a little die crack right on the inside of the 5. That's kind of cute. Well, he didn't really become famous for much of anything else, but he was lieutenant governor before he became governor in 1959. He served a full term as governor from 1959 to 1962, and then was either elected out of office or did not run again, and lost the seat of governor to another person in January 15th of 1963. And it was 2 governorships after Governor Vandiver here that wants to be President Jimmy Carter was governor of Georgia. Sat in the same chair this guy did, only about 10 years later. This one's for Paul Hampton. Not quite getting the... Sorry about that. Not quite getting the level of quality I was looking for out of this roll, but it's not too bad. Not too bad. It's relatively decent coins. I was thinking and hoping we might get better out of the governor's coins, though. Hello, Kelly Michaud. Joe McBride. Mr. McBride. What did Mr. McBride get? Wow. Drugs are hitting me hard this evening. It's a drug I take for PTSD. It makes me tired. Makes me yawn a lot. Takes all the oxygen out of my head. All right, that's coin number 18. Let's move on to coin number 19 and see what we get there. I don't see any clips in this roll, unfortunately. Coin number 19 will be Shannon. It's his second appearance in a roll. Nice coin. No variety. So we're probably going to end up varietyless in this particular roll. We're up to 19 coins and haven't found one yet. Haven't found one yet. Well, move on to the next one. So what we get out of the next coin. That's coin number 19. For Shannon, we're going to move on to coin number 20. Canyon City coin. No, never purchased anything from them. That doesn't mean there's anything wrong with them. It's just that I haven't ever purchased anything from them. 1954S. Nice BU coin. Oh, look at that. He has a headache. Big headache. Look at the reverse and see what we find on the reverse. Nothing there. Coin number 21. Coin number 21 will go to Farm Dog. Get Dana's name in here. I'll mess her up twice in one day. Got Farm Dog out here. And there we go. Coin number 21 goes to Farm Dog. Let's see. Nice earlier die state coin. This one does look nice. Just a little bit of color. Wow. It's pretty. There's Farm Dog. Next on the list will be Mr. Patillo. Chuck Patillo. Let's see what Chuck Patillo gets. No die variety on that one either. Boy, the reverses are real soft. It's really old, overstruck dies. Coin number 23. Oh, hey, there we go. Chuck Patillo gets the wrapper on this one. I don't know what that was, but I'll figure it out. There we go. Chuck Patillo. Chuck Patillo will get this wrapper, which is the Fed Reserve wrapper from the governor's estate. What's a shot in the dark? Not sure, brother. Bulldog. Bulldog up for coin number 23. Oof. Just a few spider vein looking things. This is very common for 1950s Lincoln cents, especially Philadelphia mint. Was when they washed those planchets, they just didn't do the best job in the world, and the striping is from the soap that they used, or the finished soap, or whatever it was, and it streaked on the coins. Well, it looked fine when the coins were first minted, but after a while, it had a tendency to start turning colors, and it turns the coin brown in streaks. I have Bulldog for another one. This one's a little better than the last, I do believe. And it is substantially better than the last. But we still don't have a die variety. Not one to be spoken for in this roll so far. Coin number 25. Goes to Sissy Atwell. We're halfway through the roll now. We got a Sissy Atwell coin here. Let's see what Sissy gets. Nothing particularly special other than a pretty nice looking 1954 Lincoln cent. We have some later die state issues on the reverse. I've seen this die before. We've got that gouge over by the U of unum that connects to the dot between pluribus and unum. Makes things a little difficult to read over there. Here's that die crack that runs from the rim through the right wheat grains back over to the rim. It's a surface die crack. You can tell it's a surface die crack because not only is there no displacement in the design within the cracked area, but the crack tended to wear out with the die. Anytime a crack wears out with a die, you're talking about something that didn't really penetrate very deeply into the surface. because otherwise the crack would supersede the wear on the die. Leonard, the reason that they wash the planchets, they've always done this, and they still do. It's just, it depends on what type of rinse they used. But they would wash the planchets off after they were made, created, and upset, just to make sure that they're clean when they're struck. That's all. Nothing really more than that. Flakes and other things that you're seeing in rolls on coins come from a number of different things. You could have flakes of metal as a result of lamination, or a die that had too much grease and other crud on it, and it affected the surface of the coin. Flakes as in little white flakes you can get with certain chemical washes that they used dried on the planchets in a funny fashion, so that when they sit in rolls for a while, they get a little whitish powder on the coins. That's especially noted. It's not quite the same as, but it's especially noted on 1943 Lincoln cents that have been stored in moisture, because what happens is the zinc mixes, the zinc plating on the coin mixes with oxygen, turns to zinc oxide, which is a white powder, and then when that zinc oxide starts to flake off the coin, it is quickly replaced by rust, because the inner core of the coin was steel. Steel rusts when it's not stainless or galvanized, which this was not. The stuff that they're using now doesn't make the coins turn a dark color, brown or whatever, but it does put little tiny white colored beads all over the coin, little tiny dots. And you can see that, and it also hazes them, because a lot of times the surfaces of the dies now are not the same as they were back in these days. Back in these days, when they were brand new, they had kind of a satiny sheen to them. And now when they're brand new, they look almost proof-like. And that's to the detriment of what the coin looks like when it comes out of the roll. Because oftentimes the coins can come out of the roll looking as shiny as a proof coin, but every little tiny flaw and every little tiny spot of anything that's on the coin is going to be visible. And boy, is it ever. Some of these newer coins coming out of the rolls, they look kind of hideous. This one goes to Mr. Marshall. And so far, I'm not seeing anything in this roll that looks like a die variety of any kind. No RPMs, repunchment marks, no double dies, DDO, DDR. Of course, DDO standing for obverse, which is the front design of the coin, and DDR standing for reverse, doubled die reverse, which is the backside of the coin. In numismatic terminology, we use obverse as the front and the reverse as the back, but when you start dealing in paper money, they indeed do use the words front and back to describe the two sides of the note. Oh, what did we suddenly run into here? We got color, boys and girls. I'm not sure how this came about, but we've got color. We've got color, and we have die cracks, a couple of die chips. These are called die chips, where the die just chips away in small areas. That blob inside the 9, the little crack on the outside of the 5, that other crack inside the 5 that connects to the S. And this is a later die state obverse, late die state, meaning that a lot of coins were struck with this die prior to this coin. And we can tell that in part because of how Look how rough everything looks. The back of the head, just no definition to the back of the head at all. And other areas of the design are just kind of wearing through. Like all this area in front of the bow tie. See, all that's just kind of wearing down, merging into the rim. The lettering at the top. Oh, wow. Somebody's getting him a nice colorful coin. Here, Midnight Silver Run getting him a nice colorful looking coin here. I'm going to back off of this. Get it so we can actually see the colors. Look at the colors on that coin. Nice pearlescent color. Let me flip it over and take a look at the other side real quick. That's some interesting color. Nice gem coin too. Got a good one, Midnight. Got a nice coin from the governor's hoard. And there it is. That's coin number 30. Yeah, let me bring coin number 31 in, and I'll bring it back down to a level that we can actually see everything. Here's Wild Bill. Wild Bill, you get this one, brother. It looks like, unfortunately, we do have some spotting, some bag marks, actually, this spotting. It's not real bad. It's like a die crack coming in from the rim at about 10 o'clock. Somewhat later die state. Yet still a nice uncirculated coin. Facebook is the way to communicate. Well, Bill gets the next one too. How about that for them all being clumped up in one spot? Let's see what we get out of this next coin. Wild Bill? Is it? No. Thought maybe it might be an RPM, but it isn't. I think our hopes are successfully dashed for having any RPMs in this particular roll. Did get a super nice coin, that last one for Midnight. Man, that was wild. Interesting color, how that just happened to pop into the middle of the roll like that. It could have been that the bag was stored for a little while prior to it being rolled, which is why the mixed condition of the coins, depending on where they were sitting in the bag before the bag was poured out into the counting machine at the bank. Sometimes these bags could sit in a vault for weeks or months. I don't especially like Facebook, but it is the way to communicate. There's a lot of flaws with Facebook, but there's a lot of good things too. And if you take the time to find the good things, you can ignore the flaws. I think in large measure, most of the groups on Facebook are flawed in the sense that there are a lot of people saying a lot of things about coins or whatever that don't really know what they're talking about. And when they don't really know what they're talking about, there's no shining light above their head that says novice. So someone coming in who doesn't know anything, wanting to know answers for something, will ask a question, and everybody will give an answer. And it's really hard for people who do know what they're doing or know what they're saying and trying to help someone to compete with all the people who are just running their mouth to hear their heads rattle. And it becomes a very difficult process to actually teach anyone anything in Facebook groups. Now, the one thing that Facebook groups will do is most of the groups will vet people who sell in their groups to be sure that you are getting a decent deal on your coins. eBay does not vet their sellers, so anyone can sell anything on eBay. But in a lot of the groups, I manage a group, a Lincoln Cent group, Lincoln Cent Auctions, surprise, surprise, and I will go through and I will look at things for sale on a pretty regular basis. And as I'm going through looking at the things for sale, if I think the person is trying to be deceptive, or perhaps they're trying to sell something they have no idea what they're trying to sell, and it's not worth anything near what they're trying to charge for it, I will end the sale and have a discussion with the person about what they're doing. And let them know that we can't accept that because we have to stay within the bounds of the market. As for whether it eliminates eBay, I don't think so, because eBay is a huge selling platform with a huge audience. Facebook does not quite have that kind of audience in the groups because there are no groups that have millions of people. The groups have thousands at best, and only a few dozen who are actually active and doing 99% of the buying and selling in the groups is all among 3 or 4 dozen people who very commonly share membership and number of groups together. Kind of makes the whole thing redundant. Got another one of those extreme grease struck through coins here. It looks strange. It looks like it was wrapped up in saran wrap when it was. Yeah, it looks like it was wrapped up in clear plastic wrap when it was struck. It's a very strange looking surface. But it was struck that way. That was for Hawkeye. It's coin number 36 in the roll. Well, that does work, Joe. And there are a lot of other people who are knowledgeable that you could tag for answers to your questions. But I tend to have an issue with a lot of the groups on Facebook because they don't well enough vet what happens, and people commonly get a lot of bad information. They end up with not such great deals on things that were not described very well by some sellers who are less than completely honest about what they're doing. And it doesn't take very many bad apples to spoil a whole bunch. And that's kind of what happened with eBay. Because, eBay, you've probably got 10,000 people selling coins. 3,000 of them shouldn't be. But they tend to be the ones that we focus on because, well, we're human nature. We love to focus on the negative. Joe McBride. Joe McBride gets this one. Let's see what you got here, buddy. Looks like a normal coin. So let's hope that its condition is nice. It's pretty nice. It's got a little gouge on his shoulder. Let's take a look at the reverse and see what we have. Okay, it's a little bit spotty. I'm not going to say beat up, but it's not exactly pristine either. I'll call this a nice choice BU coin. Well, the one thing that I completely disagree with on eBay is the fact that they have decided to start charging this internet commerce tax. And I live in a state, North Carolina, that does not have sales tax on sales of coins. And if you live in Florida, you don't have sales tax on the sales of coins, unless there are certain caveats to that. But we're talking like United States Lincoln cents, less than $5,000. There's no sales tax in Florida. There's no sales tax in North Carolina. But if I in North Carolina sell you in Florida a roll of pennies, eBay wants to charge you a sales tax for that. How can they do that? They can't charge a sales tax. There's a lot of bad apples on YouTube. There's a lot of bad apples everywhere. A lot of people are really greedy. They do anything they can to make a buck. They don't care about their people. They don't care about the customers. They don't know about the products. They do anything they can just to take the money and run. Gosh, this one's ugly. Sorry, sissy. Got you an ugly coin. Some they come nice and some they come ugly. They don't make them a lot uglier than this. Right, so being in South Carolina, if I sold you coins from here in North Carolina to you in South Carolina, because the coins are going to cross state lines, eBay would want to charge a sales tax on that. Now, they're collecting all this sales tax. Who are they paying it to? Good question, right? Good question. Another one for Hawkeye. This is coin number 41. Looks like we're going to pretty much end up with an average roll of 1954S Lincoln cents here. There's a little color on that one. Oh, interesting color. But yeah, I have a real issue with them charging extra fees and calling it a sales tax and claiming there's some form or fashion of how they're turning that into the government. eBay's not turning that into the government. Are you silly? They're sticking it in their pockets. You're right. There's people on all the different websites, and basically what I really hate to say, but it's absolutely true, caveat emptor. You have to be careful of what you're doing when you're spending money. You have to make sure that who you're spending money with believes in quality, believes in their product, and will back up their product. If you don't like what you receive from me, send it back. It's pretty simple. Send it back. I'll refund you. Now, there are certain caveats to that. One, for instance, would be if you buy an original bank-wrapped roll from me with shotgun shell ends and you get the coins, you open up the roll and you look at the coins and you decide you don't like the coins, I can't really do much for you. I sold you a roll. I didn't sell you 50 coins. The roll is the product. I don't want a bunch of coins. I want the rolls. If you buy a roll and change your mind, decide you already have one like that, or you don't like the ends of it, and you don't like the way it looks, and you want to return it, you send it back to me how it came to you. I'll just give you your money back. It's pretty simple. Don't pee on my head and tell me it's raining moments. For sure. But in my little world, my little way of doing things here is that I want to make sure that everyone is as satisfied as they can be. And I, within reason, would do pretty much anything for any of you. Because, well, frankly, you pay my electricity bill. And given that you pay my electricity bill, I listen to what you say. And anytime anyone brings anything up to me where I have done anything that is unfair, I am going to really look at that hard and make a decision based on what you've said, based on what I think. And I'm one of the most pliable, easy to change people there is. I'm not set in my ways in any way on anything. I've had a number of you people in here right now have made suggestions to me in the past that I took, and I use them to this day. And I do give out a lot of free coin information. I do the best I can to educate people, because they tell you, how coin collecting is a very cerebral thing, and numismatics is a very mindful thing that you have to be thinking when you're doing it, and it takes a lot of education, and it takes a lot. Well, how are you supposed to get the education if no one's going to give it to you? Somebody's got to give it to you. Somebody's got to teach you something. Otherwise, you're just going to keep going through the rolls with chocolate all over your hands. I have to tell you to wash your hands before you go. Right? So Mr. Patat here just got this coin. Mr. Patat was the person who woke me up to the idea that I needed to limit the number of coins people could buy per roll to allow more people into the rolls. I listened to him. I said, that's a great idea. And from that moment forward, I have been limiting the number of coins each person could purchase in the rolls, and all the people who want to be involved and are present to purchase have been able to get involved for the better part. I mean, there's only 50 coins in a roll. When I've got 250 people wanting 50 coins, somebody's going to be dissatisfied. But there's not really a whole lot that I can do about that. I mean, I guess I could start chopping the coins in half, but you guys probably wouldn't like that either. Redbook is a good starting point. Redbook will get you the idea that this coin is scarce, it's worth more. This coin is not so scarce, it's worth less. These coins were minted between this date and that date, and they're made out of this metal, and this person designed them. They are this size and this thickness. That's a really good information you can glean from a Redbook. Redbook will teach you a lot. It won't tell you today's market value on a coin. It won't help you learn how to grade. Those things are for other books or other venues. Don't walk into a cell phone store looking for apples. Looking for tomatoes, let's say. Apples was a bad thing to say because, well, you can go into a cell phone store and find apples. But, okay, so you don't go into a cell phone store looking for kumquats. You go into a grocery store looking for kumquats. But you don't go to a grocery store looking to lower your cell phone plan. All of the fruit, that's right. All right, Mr. Harmon gets number 48, coin number 48, and the roll belongs to Don Harmon. Well, unfortunately, this has been a very easy roll on me. I like the rolls that are difficult. I like the ones that are challenging. I like the ones that I actually have to figure things out. This particular roll has been way too easy because there's nothing to figure out. Hey, look at that little concentric scratches around the outside edge of the design. That probably came from the reduction lathe. You see them there? See how it comes to an abrupt end right there, right before the U of unum? That is most likely lathe lines. I've not seen this on a coin in this roll yet, so this may be a stray coin that was in the hopper when it fed into the bag and ended up in this roll. Sometimes that does happen. They'll dump the hopper out before they'll bring more coins in to roll them or to bag them. And you end up with a few coins stuck or left behind in the hopper. So you turn up with one roll that has 7 different die pairs and one coin from a different die pair. It has happened. I have seen it. Doug Reese. And I'm not a New Yorker. I'm not saying Doug Reese. I am saying Doug Reese. Doug Reese is one of our family. That's what I like about this. It becomes a family. I love having a family. Of course, I have a family, but I mean, I love my coin family too. You did miss my last auction, Kelly. But if you go to coppercoins.com/auction, you'll see the coins that did not receive any offers during the show. Dana will get coin number 50 again. But this time, I actually drew her for coin number 50, and it wasn't a by default thing. So this particular coin is not in the best shape because it was at the end of the roll, so it's got some spots on it. And the nose was facing out. The tails was facing in, which is why it's a little bit cleaner looking. But overall, this was kind of a very average roll. I hate it when that happens, but it does. We do have other rolls that we'll be doing as time progresses. And in fact, the next roll that we will be doing, I do believe I have slated, will be a Canadian dime roll. 1965 silver Canadian dimes. I've scarcely even seen a 1965 silver Canadian dime, and now I'm about to open an entire roll of them. So we end up going through this one, and we didn't actually have anything of value. But this is our 1965 Canadian dime roll. This is from Montreal. It is from the Canadian Bank of Commerce, Montreal. And it says P.Q. which I'm assuming means Province, Quebec. That's what I assume it means, Province, Quebec. But these are silver. They have almost like a proof-like sheen to them. I'm seeing the butt end on both ends. The side with the sailboat, the schooner. Did I pull 3 coins for you and you counted only 2? Okay, well, let's do it. Let's go through and find them. Let's see. Okay, Wild Bill's not in the first 16 coins. Not in the first 29 coins. Well, you're a late bloomer, brother. There's 1. There's 2. Et 3. 3 coins. Mr. Wild Bill receives coins numbered 32, 31, and 43. What did you hear correctly? I'm sorry, Youper. I'm not sure what I said. Did I say something wrong? I'm interested to find out. What did I hear that correctly? Eee. So I can't screech anymore. My voice is too low to screech. So I said, eee. It's kind of simple for me. Keep it simple, stupid. What I say, misplaced Jupiter girl? There's somebody. Oh, my gosh. Who's trying to get a hold of me? Evidently no one. That's exactly where I went. Oh, my wife tried to contact me. Perhaps I should contact my wife later. Yeah, the Canadian dimes. These are Canadian dimes. Oh, it's a good thing. Okay. Yeah, these are silver 1965 Canadian dimes. 80% silver. Pretty cool. They came out of the Governor Vandiver hoard. There were a couple of rolls of nickels in there too. A couple of rolls of Canadian nickels, but they're not. They're the ends of them are busted, and the last couple of coins have spilled out of them. But here's something else Canadian that we're going to be doing in the near future. I don't know exactly when they're going to run, but it will be in the near future if I could actually find the roll. Here it is. Yeah, this is it. I have an entire roll here of Canadian proof-like coins. They're Canadian proof-like cents. This one happens to be a 1967 on the end. But I've got a lot of them from 1963 through 1967. Then I got a couple of 77s in here. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to build some small little setlet things of a few different coins and run them for a couple of dollars. Because this is a nice roll. I mean, the whole roll is, yeah, slightly different bands of color in there because this was not an original roll. It was a put-together roll because it does have a number of different years of coins in it. But I also have a few rolls of Canadian nickels that are original, still sealed rolls. What year's on the nickels? I don't even know. I think one of them was a 63 roll, but I'm not sure. Are you having a fit? Yeah, I'm not sure what the Canadian nickels were that came out of the governor's hoard, but I think there were 2 or 3 rolls of them. And I have a few other rolls of Canadian nickels. I've got a few other rolls of Canadian cents. Not a whole lot. I get them once in a while. They come in, and I respect them and sell them to someone who wants them because I don't. But I feel good and I feel bad all at the same time. I feel good because we've been through 2 rolls today that provided some pretty nice looking coins. I feel kind of bad in that there's no die varieties to attribute in these, because I like rolls that are filled with die varieties. They're just stuffed full of goodies. If I could open a roll for you guys and the entire thing was stuffed full of doubled dies, I couldn't possibly be happier. You know how happy that 1963 roll or the 1956 proof rolls, those things made me. This one's going to be interesting right here because this one is purported to be a 1956 D roll. Look how shiny that is. It's a very nice shiny roll. But it's got tails on both ends. So I can't tell what the date is, except that these were marked as 1956D. So we are assuming that they're 1956D. Then we've got this roll coming up. This is a 1958D roll, but this roll is actually one of those, I call it a pipe bomb tube because it looks like a pipe bomb. Yeah, I can tell. Hey, Kelly, Michaud, Penny Parent says that she emailed you back and says congratulations. The this roll here that's evidently mixed, or I don't know what it is. It said it was a 56D roll, so we're going to go on that assumption. And in looking at the reverse of the last coin in the roll right here, I mean, this is look at the sheen on that. That thing's near proof-like. That's a really nice looking coin. The 1956D reveal will be probably Sunday around noon, if not before noon. I'm going to fit it in before Jessica's show, because Jessica's going to be doing an auction on Sunday, and I am not going to be doing anything coin related after about 6 p.m. Eastern Time, because I am going to watch the Kansas City Chiefs win the Super Bowl. A 1999S was really cool. It was a cool roll, but you really liked it because you got a double die out of it and nobody else did. And he also got a double die that is now residing in an Annex holder with the die number on it. He has the only one that exists. That's Hawkeye that I'm talking about there. He's the only one that exists. The only double die reverse known for 1999S. Oh yeah, that's right. Super Bowl isn't for another week. Yeah, so I'll probably be doing the 56D reveal. Let's see, what do I have left? Let me go check my. We just did number 60. We've got 61 through 64. Number 61 is going to be the 65 Canadian dime roll. Number 62 is going to be this 1956D roll that tails out on both ends. Number 63 is the 1958D roll in the clear plastic tube. And then number 64 is going to be this 1957D original bank wrapped roll that comes from the Governor Vandiver hoard, which again is the same as these and will have the same style holder, because they're going to have the portrait of Governor Vandiver on one side, and they're going to have the information about the fact that they come from the collection of Governor Vandiver. But those, I've got those 4 to do. I will do probably 2 of them tomorrow and 2 of them Sunday. So the 2 that I'll do tomorrow will be the 65 dimes, Canadian dimes, and the 56D Lincoln cent roll. Sunday I will do the 58D and the 57D. So that's what it is. Pro Bowl. I don't ever watch the Pro Bowl. I don't really know why, but I don't. I have never really had any interest in the Pro Bowl. Strangely enough, I did have interest in the baseball All-Star game, but time tomorrow, Farm Dog. Let's see, time tomorrow. Excuse you. A dog back here snoring loudly. Let's see, tomorrow I think what I'm going to do is I have to pick my wife up from the airport at 6. So I'm going to try to kind of keep it open, but they're going to be earlier in the day. I think one of them's going to be 1 p.m. and the other one at 3 p.m. So I'll do the dime roll at 1 p.m. and then 3 p.m. will be the 1956D roll. And then Sunday, I have to do them more like 10 in the morning and 2 in the afternoon. But I'll get them scheduled this evening after I get finished with this broadcast, and you can go in and take a look. But I will try to make sure that I keep it about the times that I've already told you. Which I'll be doing 2 during the day tomorrow and 2 during the day on Sunday. I won't be doing any late evening ones like I did today. The late evening opens are for Wednesday, Thursday only. Friday I like to be with my wife in the evening and be off the computer. And Saturday, Sunday, it's just whenever I happen to be able to make it there. Can you hear that? Yeah, you can hear it. I'm watching my meter. I'm watching my sound meter, and every time he takes a big snore, I can see it on my sound meter. So I know you guys are hearing it. The microphone's picking it up. Yeah, he's laying right behind me back here, sawing logs. That's my boy. Kevin speaks, yes. The rolls that I have mentioned that I'm going to be doing later this week have already sold out. Every roll that I do a reveal on sells out within a couple of minutes. And they sell during the auctions, the Coppercoins channel auctions on Tuesday evenings at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. As we go through the auction, we actually sell off the spots in these rolls. Now, I've got more rolls coming up next week. Next week, I have let's see, the ones I have for next week, I don't have as many exciting ones, but I do have some rolls for next week. I've got some 64, 1960 Philadelphia. I've got another 1956 D roll that came from the Governor's Hoard. And I have another 1957 D roll that came from the Governor's Hoard. The 56 D roll that I'm opening this week did not come from the Governor's Hoard. Only the 57 D roll that I'll be doing came from the Governor's Hoard. The rest of the coins are, and the 65 dime roll. But the other two Lincoln cent rolls that I'm doing this week did not come from the Governor's Hoard. Take care, Wild Bill. I'll tell Sherman good night when I wake him up to send him to bed. Yes, I have to disturb him to get him to go to bed. Got somebody saying something to me in the Facebook. Let me make sure that it's not something that needs to be responded to immediately. I don't think it will be. No. Another one of the things that I'll be doing here shortly. Let me move all this out of the way so I can bring it up here because it's quite heavy. I showed you guys all this earlier, but that guy right there. This is a full bag from the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis. It has the original red tag, the original Federal Reserve Bank red tag, and lead seal. Right there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a roll reveal of one of these. These are all rolled already. That's why there's such a square box look. There's 100 rolls of pennies in this. And I have 5 of these bags from different years. This one appears to be from 1973. But I don't know that it's from 1973. It just appears to be from 1973. I don't have... This one's actually 1974. I finally found it. On the back of the tag, it has a date. March 28, 1974. But I have 5 bags from the Fed Reserve. And so these 5 bags from the Fed Reserve, I'll be doing a roll reveal on them. And the style of roll reveal that I'll be doing is we'll sell the roll, and I won't know which roll. I mean, I'm going to pick a roll out of the bag, but I'm going to open the bag right here on camera. I'm not going to open the bag prior to the actual reveal. So when I do the reveal show on these, I'm going to cut the twine that's actually holding these bags together. And then I'll reach in and grab a roll, and we'll take care of doing the reveal then. But I've got 5 bags. They're different dates. This one's 1974. And I'll probably run these at $1 a coin. They're not going to be expensive. And we'll see what we can do about it. Yeah, who needs a gym when you got a $50 bag of pennies? That's right. I got 5 of these in the mail today, and I've been carrying them upstairs. So, yeah, I'm getting my exercise today. But this one has a date of 1974 on it. Now that I know what the date is, I'm kind of wondering. Let me open another one of these bags. Let's see. That was already open. Somebody's perfume or something spilled onto it. That's not good. Let's see. Let me open this other one. Yeah, this one's still sealed. It's still sealed and it still has the tag. But this one, the tag is 3/4 torn off. But the lot number on the bag is exactly the same. So it could be the same date mint. Now here's that one. It's got a little rip in it. I guess if I can see a date in here. What do you know? There is a date. Looks like 1967. So that 673 kind of blows the whole idea out of the water. Let's see if I can find another one here with a date on the end. So I can see if indeed the whole bag is 1967 or if there's some chance that these are mixed dates. No, Marshall, these are from the St. Louis. These are from the St. Louis Fed. Trying to fish another roll over here real quick, see if I can get a date off of it. Not going to get the date off the reverse of a coin. So much for that. Well, I believe this is a 1967 bag. Either way, it was sealed a long time ago, and it has a full lead seal from the Fed Reserve. This little ticket tag here comes from the Fed Reserve, and the date that it was sealed would be right there, except it's been ripped off. That part of the tag is no longer there. So I presumably have 3 other bags somewhere, or 2 other bags. It looks like this bag has been opened at one point in time. But these, the one date that I did see on here was 1967. Now, this bag was already opened, but oh my gosh. Wow. The coins are rather nice. Holy moly. What is this? This is 1974D. They're really shiny. Really nice and shiny. These are Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis. 50 cents and pennies. 1974 Denver. You want to see? Not a better way to do it than to take my little camera here and try. Here's 1974D. And these appear to be large date. Really nice coin. Looks like it's got some color on it. Here, let me... What did I do to myself here? Don't do that to yourself, Chuck. You will lose your crowd. There we go. There we go. Nice little roll. Yeah, we'll end up maybe doing a couple of these 1974 rolls too. I'll make sure they go real cheap. That's 50 cents, something like that per coin. We'll do a few of them. But these are 74D. It came out of this bag. It's already opened. And something in the bag smells perfumey. I don't know. And then there's more rolls in here. Let's see what I end up with here. No, sir, I'm not a dope dealer. I just deal in pennies. That's what we send in the mail. Pennies wrapped up so your dogs don't sniff them out. Right, Sharon? Yeah, looky here. We have more rolls. Some of these are in really good shape. Some of them aren't. And what do you know? The little thingy's been torn off the bag, so I can't open the bag. So I have to cut the bag open. And what do we have here? Looks like 1973D. Got some 1973Ds here. Some didn't fare so well. A stain there on the end of that. That's not a new stain, that's an old stain. The coin on the end is interesting. It's a real interesting color. Nope, where is it? It is that way. Hey, yo, look at that. It has a little bit of the circle of death on it, but it's still pretty nice looking coin. Yeah, that's a 73D. This whole bag is 73D rolls. Tails. Need to get these marked because this part of it, they all look exactly alike. They're all pink and white, and they all say pennies on them. But when they're tails, you have to make sure that you're getting. There's another tails roll. You got to make sure you get them in the right stack. This is another 73D, I believe. Yeah, that's a 73D. So there we are. Let me get this big piece of cardboard out of the way. Yeah, there's the other part of the bag there. That's why I couldn't open the bag, because the little zipper thingy broke. But there we go. Just like Christmas, right? Just like Christmas. Wait a minute. What was this one? This is one of the 74 rolls, isn't it? Yes, it is. These are both 1974D rolls, and then all of these are 73D. I know, Sherman. What do you think of it? Huh? What do you think, buddy? You want to say hi? Want to say hi? Say hi, Sherman. He loves everybody. Let's see. Bag in the bank bag are sealed are 73D. I don't think the sealed one's a 73D. I think the sealed one is a 74D. It was sealed in 74. And then the other one that I've got that's still sealed and it has a hole in the side of it, I saw a 1967 on the side. So I don't know if that's actually a 67 bag or if it's a mixture of dates. And if that's a mixture of dates in the wrappers and they were wrapped in 73, 74, could you imagine the wheats that would be in those? You never know what's inside those rolls. But we're going to find out eventually. One way or the other, we're going to find out. I have a lot of 1960D original bank wrap rolls. I want to go through a couple of those. And so I think I'm going to do that next week as well. Is it common for the top of the 6 to appear split on a 1969D? It is if you've got more than one lighting source. If you're using more than one lighting source, you're going to find that a lot of times those will look split on the top. But if you back out and use one lighting source, you'll notice that those splits go away. Yeah, Sherm loves everyone except his own reflection. Well, I tell you what, there's one word you don't want to use around him. I won't tell you what it is. But if you use the wrong word with him, he gets really mad. No. What makes you think it's that word? It could be. But what makes you think it's that word? I did not. I didn't tell you any such thing. See, he's watching. Watch him. Look at him. This is how he guards the nest. He's guarding us. He's looking out the door over there. Oh, I guess I did tell you after all, didn't I? Yeah, he doesn't like to be called a puppy. I'm really not sure why. I'm not going to disturb him, though. It's getting late. It's 10 o'clock. It's time for him to be in bed. He doesn't mind so much when I say it. He just doesn't like it when Mama says it. He hasn't seen Mama in a while. He's going to see Mama tomorrow. Well, that is, if the grown man understands being called a kid, I could get it. I'm not really sure he understands completely being called a puppy. He didn't hear me. Because he doesn't like being called a puppy. A puppy? Oh, here he is. What is that? What? What? Hey. Have you seen my puppy? Yeah, he doesn't like it. He bit me. He did it nicely, but he bit me. All right, hush. Hush. Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh, your breath stinks. He just belched on me. No! Don't do that. It'd be nice. Angie's probably asleep. You'd be good. What did Robert say? My leg was a chew toy. My leg's always a chew toy. You should see the scars that I have on my legs from this damn dog. That and my arms. You always notice that my arms are all scarred up. It's because he loves to chew on my arms. He chews on my arms. I've got little scabs and scars everywhere from this dog chewing on me. The 63D dime. I'm sure there's RPMs. I don't know. If you go to varietyvista.com, there's an area that lists dimes on there. Let's see if I can do this. I'm going to try to do this. We're going to see how well this works out. We're already done with this part of it. So, and let me add in a display capture of that screen. And let me bring up Variety Vista and go down to the, over here to the Roosevelt Dimes. And let's just check DDO listings for Roosevelt Dimes. And let's go to 1963. Denver is blacked out, so there are no DDO listings for Roosevelt Dimes. How about DDR listings? Double die reverse listings? For 1963, there are. There's one. So there's one listing of a nice double die reverse for the 1963 D dime. And there it is. Pretty nice. They have different stage markers on here. Then we go back to here. See if there's any RPMs for 1960, and there are 3 different ones known. There's a nice one that goes to the south. There's one that goes to the north. Another one that kind of goes to... There's 3 different RPMs known. What about the Canadian dimes? Yeah, varietyvista.com. My friend and colleague, the name of James Wiles, Dr. James Wiles, put this website together. In fact, his email address is down here. Um, I don't know if there really is anything for Canadian dye varieties. If there is, it would be something Ken Potter would probably know about because he was doing a listing of all the world RPMs and dye varieties and repunch dates, stuff like that. And he would know more about Canadian dye varieties than anybody else I know of in the United States. What are you curious about, Vidal Gonzalez? Have any rolls from your last auction? There were no rolls in my last auction. The only rolls that were in my last auction were the ones that I'm doing the reveals on that we've got coming up here. Hmm. I need a Sherman cam. Yeah, I might actually do that. I might take this little cam here, not this one, not this one, but this one over here, the one you can't see right now because we're not on that mode. We might actually have to turn that into a Sherman cam. Okay, so now he has his alligator. This alligator. He's got the alligator over by these bags and he's pushing it up against the bags so he can smell the bags and not get in trouble. Because he's not supposed to be sniffing the coins, but it's okay if he has his alligator in his mouth. He was being very intent. Very attentive and intense dog. So yeah, you'll notice there's a mess behind me. I was doing packaging today. I sent out, I don't know, probably close to about 70 packages today. It's mostly all the stuff that was won on or previous to the 1st of January. Of course, after the 1st, I didn't have any other sales until this past weekend. Or actually this past week, the Tuesday sale. And that's the reveals that I'm doing now are going to go in those packages. So I'm going to finish the reveals before I put the packages together. And I'll ship those this coming Monday. It's kind of how I've gone to working through it. Anyway, so gonna have Fed Reserve bag reveals. Going to have additional roll reveals. I have a number of rolls around here that are good for setting up reveals. A whole line of them. I need to send some of these to Penny Parent and let her do them. What do you guys think about Penny Parent doing roll reveals? Once she can get a scope set up, got everything all set up and ready to go. What do you think about that? Good idea? I think it's a good idea. I think I like that idea. We got 24 people left in here right now. You need to tell me what you think. We've been on here for an hour and 45 minutes. About time to shut down. She's good. Yes? You think so? Quit licking my pennies. I'm watching myself do that. I can't believe I just did that. Quit looking at my pennies. I think she'd be excellent at it. I was just asking you guys. So we might start doing some row reveals by Penny Parent. I'm going to start calling her Jessica Johnson because I think she's going to quit using the Penny Parent name when she's doing the stuff specifically for Coppercoins. I think she made a different account for that, but I'm not sure. She'd have to speak for herself. She revealed to show my. Rewound to show my dog chewing on me. Nice. Had to show Dusty. Yeah, basically what I said was I asked the crowd what it would be like having Penny Parent as a host on a role reveal. They all liked the idea. So I'm good with Penny Parent being a host on a reveal. I definitely am. So then my next question was, are you going to be using the name Penny Parent when you do the reveals, or are you going to move over to your Jessica Johnson name to do the reveals? Well, the Penny Parent idea is wonderful, and I love it, and it's really cool. But you're not really acting as Penny Parent when you're doing a reveal, are you? Or are you? I got rolls. Got rolls to send to you. Penny Parent is Jessica. So I'm thinking she's using her Penny Parent account now. But yeah, okay. I think she's going to do the role reveals as Jessica Johnson instead of Penny. And some of that has to do with the damn rules that YouTube came up with about children or something like that. And you're doing role reveals as something parent, that makes YouTube want to look at you harder. And we don't want YouTube looking at us because we're doing just fine without their policing us. Yeah. So we're going to do it as Jessica. So Jessica Johnson will be doing role reveals. Chuck, what is my name in real life? Chuck. That's kind of funny. Yeah, my name is Chuck. That's unless we're talking about Sherman, then I'm Daddy. Then I'm Daddy. Yes, Mommy and Daddy. My name in real life. Well, folks, I think I'm about tuckered out for the night. Not that, and I need to watch my news and get ready for bed. Need to get this munch monster down here to bed. Yeah, no, Chris spells his name differently. Chris is part of the, I believe Chris is part of the Daughtrey clan prior to the split in Virginia. Because there was a split many, many, many moons ago. And so he's probably related, but not anywhere near like cousins or anything. But anyway, I am going to. When your name is Chuck, you get called everything. Yeah, pretty much. Somebody else here who has personal experience with the idea of being called Chuck Everything. I appreciate it, everybody. You guys have a great night. And you're very welcome for the Variety Vista tip. Tell James I sent you. You guys have a wonderful night. And Sherm and I will see you when we get back up. See you later.